Hello, traders. Hope you had a great long weekend from the markets. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is AJ on Day Trader Boom or Bust. I have a lot to go over today. I'll try to keep it short, but I also want to make sure that I cover it all. I got some feedback that it might be nicer to have shorter, easier to consume vids. So if this runs long, I may break it up into multiple parts so it's easier each vid is easier to digest in one viewing. Just before I was going to record this video, I did something I'm not proud of. I'll share that at the end of this recap, but everything in this recap is prior to that disappointing act. Another thing is I'm working on using Epic Pen to better highlight what I'm talking about on my charts, but I'm not proficient enough to incorporate it just yet. I promise it's coming though. So for now, I hope it's easy enough to follow my mouse pointer as I'm speaking. So let's get into it. Today was a red day for me, and I feel those are the best learning days. So because you really do learn so much from the things that you might be doing wrong. So I hope what I share can help some of you. I broke a few of my rules today, and I'll definitely make sure I touch base on that. Let's start with my watch list. So here it is. As I always do, I posted this on Twitter earlier today. My primary watch list was Neo, APHA, Afria, and Plug, all as continuation plays. And on my secondary list was GME, GameStop, and GM as continuations, and XPEV, which was trading on news. I believe it was an upgrade. So those are what I was focusing on in the morning. And as I've talked about in previous videos, I tend to stay strictly with those tickers, those stocks, unless there's a huge catalyst news or a call out in the chat room I'm part of that might draw my attention to another stock. So, okay, let's talk about some of the rules that I broke. So one of my rules, so one of the things is if I'm green or flat after 6 trades, then I make a judgment call on whether I take any additional trades. I've just found that anything over 6 trades, if I'm red, almost always ends up in a worse day. So if it's 6 trades and I'm red, I definitely won't take any more trades. But if I'm flat or green, then I will, like I said, make a judgment call on the setup on whether or not I'll take another trade. But the rule that I have, though, is that I have to stop if that additional trade is red. So I didn't follow this rule. Because I didn't follow this rule, I ended up over trading today. And again, for me, that virtually always leads to red days for me, at least based on my historical data to this point. Another rule I broke is don't take more than 3 trades trying to catch a move, and we'll talk about that. And I also traded 5 different stocks today, which is not against any rule of mine, but it definitely indicates that I was probably trying too hard to find trades. So the opening was a little frustrating for me because I'm not using this as an excuse, but as many of us as traders might be in the situation of, my daughter is homeschooling right now, or remote learning due to pandemic issues, and because of that, her first Zoom call for the morning is at 10 a.m. and I'm normally able to kind of balance this. Today, that kind of got in the way a little bit of one of my trades, and it ended up in a max loss trade. So, which I'm, more and more trying to avoid. And because I was focused on getting her on the call while trying to catch the move, getting in at the right place and take partials. So that was a little frustrating, and I was able to kind of regroup a little bit. And well, let's look at the trades. The first one I took today, which is not necessarily a rule broken for me, but it's definitely not the norm. I took a pre-market trade today. I have nothing against trading in pre-market, but I have found, at least to this point, that I don't really have a playbook for pre-market trades. But I have started to try and find, a strategy that might work for me in the pre-market, because I know that there are some pretty solid opportunities there. So I will allow myself to take one pre-market trade a day, and only if I feel that there's a good reason to do so. So as I'm looking for it here on my chart, my pre-market trade today was on NEO. So here it is. Let me zoom in. Again, I hope you're seeing my pointer here and I'm not moving it too fast. So here is the 1 minute chart for NEO, and you can see here, you can't really see the volume. Well, let's see if I can zoom in a little more. Maybe you'll better see the volume. Okay, so yeah, here there was a large volume spike with this drop in NEO in the pre-market. You can also see that in this time frame, VPOC was right here around 57.85. So, and then there was this upside down hammer and another upside down hammer. So when it broke this level, I let it run, and then I want to see for a retest of this level. And when I saw that it appeared to have bounced off this level with a bit of an indecision doji here, I went long at the break of that doji. Long. I went short, as you can see here, at the break of that doji to see if I could catch a move down. Unfortunately, it bottomed out here and started to turn around. Now, a mistake I made here is once it broke this level that I had here, I really should have got out of the trade to limit the amount of loss. I do trade smaller share size in the pre-market also, because again, I'm working on developing a solid strategy for the pre-market. Unfortunately, I didn't get out here as I saw this volume start to come in with it going, moving up. I definitely got out here just under the VWAP, and that ended up being, I think, 0.7, 0.75 R loss. So I'm not too disappointed with that. I think that it definitely could have, and it's just a trade that didn't go the direction I thought it would. So anyways, that was my first trade for the day. So even before so I was already one red trade down going into the open, but at this stage in the game, that really doesn't bother me. I don't let that affect or have that. In past, I probably would have already started to lose my psychology a little bit, and it would almost surely set up a poor day. But I prepared for that, and we went into the morning with some ready to get the day started off right. So the open came in, and my next trade was on Afria, and let me see here on this 1 minute chart. Okay, so Sorry, just pulling this chart back a little bit. Okay. So this was a solid trade. This was a 1 minute opening range breakout. So as you can see here, actually I ended up taking this on the break of the 2 minute candle. And the reason for that was you can see this 100 SMA. I wanted to I wanted to make sure that the price had cleared all of the all the levels there. And sorry, I'm going to back up here a little bit more also. And this level here, as you can see, was a level from the pre-market. So I didn't want to play this because I missed this original opening range, which I may not have taken anyways, just because of this. This is the 200 SMA, but once the price cleared this level here, I felt that it was it was a good time to kind of get in. So I got in short, and as you can see, I partialed down. I think I maybe over partialed here a little bit, and then as it got to this is not previous day close, but close from 2 days, 2 days prior. Oh no, sorry. This is previous day close. Sorry about that. Yeah, so at previous day close, I figured we would hit some resistance. So I definitely took you can see this second quick partial here. And as you can see, it did bounce up. And I wasn't sure what it was going to do at this level here. And it did break down, but once so I held. This was my final, I think this is a 10%. I was down to 10% at this point. So I wanted to see if it would run down a little further. It did take this run down, but it seemed to have bounced off previous day close again. So instead of letting it come right back up to break even, I exited the full trade here. And this trade, sorry, I'm just going to kind of look it up here on my journal. This trade was just under a 2R trade, 2R return on this trade. So it was a solid start. Like I said, that pre-market put me in the red, but this put me solidly into the green for the day. So that was a solid start for the day. And then my next trade was in